Living Peninsula, where we are touching hearts and living inspired lives. My name is Susan Wilkinson. I will be doing the moderating and some of the practitioner work. Thank you for being here today. We will begin with our first song, Morning Song by Ray Davis.
Here's a song for the morning, morning. Rise and breathe in the feeling, feeling. Not nothing but blue skies, fresh and clear. Nothing to fear in this bright field, in this bright field of love and possibility. Here's the time for sitting silent, still, breathing in the moment, this moment, before the clank of cacophony, where to be descends on me. I sit, I breathe, I remember. Here's a song for the morning, morning. Rise and breathe in the feeling, feeling of nothing but blue skies, fresh and clear. Nothing to fear in this bright field, in this bright field of love and possibilities. Here's where I'll be, but simply can't be done. Simply being wholly in the moment, this moment. And though my mind may interrupt with thoughts both pious and corrupt, and for a time it may hold sway, still I sit, I listen, and remember. Coming my way. It's all love and possibility. No need to beg and me from down on my knees. I've got peace over here, I've got joy over there, I've got talent in my toes and I'm bummed and in my head. All of mine is right here for me, and I have decided to believe it and receive it and remember. La la
And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you for being here. And thank you to Ray Davis for waking us up. So wonderful. The wonderful gift of singing. We are here at the Center for Spiritual Living Peninsula, where we speak about thought, the beauty of focusing on truth, that God is all there is and we are one with God in everything that we do. We have our mission statement. Our mission is transformation through spiritual practice, education, service, empowerment, and by living inspired lives. We are so grateful to have with us today Reverend Jerry Hobby, a special friend of Center for Spiritual Living Peninsula. I'm so grateful to share the practitioner work with Reverend Alan David Young. Thank you, Reverend Alan, for such a wonderful meditation. And we have always our wonderful tech host, Joe Beckner. Thank you, Joe, for the ministry that you always give us. So awesome. We'll have another song, Look for the Good by Annalisa Leeming. It is performed at Mile High Church, a wonderful source of music and wonderful things.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. If you're able and you would like to get up on your feet and move around, I think this song is a spell breaker. Bring it into every cell of your body. Look around you. Here we go. Sing along if you know it. Here we go. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes. If there's a silver lining, you still have to find it, find it. Look for good in everything. you're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are, I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying, when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
And thank you to Annalisa Leeming and the Mile High Choir. I'd like to introduce Reverend Alan David Young, who will give us our affirmation and our prayer this morning. Thank you, Reverend Alan.
Means affirmation, and you can say it after me, with me, silently or aloud. My life, all life, soars in love today. My life, all life, soars in love today. Today we are welcoming someone who's been with us before and has helped us when we needed to raise funds by contributing a substantial donation in the early days of this new birth of CSLP, and that's Jerry Hobby, in conjunction with the organization she was with our beloved Reverend Carolyn, who's moved on. And so we appreciate her presence and her message, which is going to be unique, for only she can deliver her message. And we give thanks for all that is taking place, for her presence, for her wisdom in advance. For we know that the truth is believed and accepted wherever it is taught. And we bless it wherever it is taught. But this morning, this service, we thank Jerry Hobby for her presence, for her wisdom, for her love. And she's been here before, she'll be here again. And we give thanks for all of that. And I simply release these words in love, knowing that we're about to receive loving words, a loving service. And once again, say thank you, thank you, thank you. And with a grateful heart, I turn the service over to our wonderful, beloved Reverend Jerry Hobby, who's going to give us her message.
And I'm going to say hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back here in community with you. What a wonderful blessing and what a wonderful tone you've already set. I thank you all, Susan, Reverend Allen. It's just really great to be with you. And today, I'm setting an intention, and the intention is that we have a love fest. That's my choice, to be in a space of love. So many of you know that my ministry is a virtual ministry. It is a ministry. It is called Seed FM, Spiritual Enlightenment and Truth Focused Ministry. And I choose to think of it and to support our community in experiencing a virtual sanctuary. And when I think about CSL Peninsula, I think about that same thing. This sanctuary, which is committed to, and it's similar to your mission, it is committed to empowerment, healing, and deep spiritual connection. So in addition to that, my ministry also, I also serve as a certified heart math facilitator. As a matter of fact, many years ago when Reverend Carolyn and I decided that we would become certified heart math facilitators together. And this is where we get an opportunity to connect the wisdom of the heart with the intelligence of the mind through coherence, breath work, and emotional resilience. And so before we get started, I'd like to invite you to just anchor again. Reverend Allen did such a wonderful job with anchoring us. When I came into the space, I could go, ah. And it is important for us to remember to continue to go, ah, again and again. So I'm going to invite you to join me for a quick coherence. It's a simple way to center ourselves and to open fully to what is already established here right now. So I invite you to take a deep breath and to feel it expanding in your chest. And to follow it with a slow exhale. And now, for the next few breaths, I'm inviting you to just gently shift your attention to the area of your heart and to breathe into that space as if your heart were doing the work. Just breathe. And as you breathe, I'm inviting you to feel a sense of gratitude, compassion, or love, where we just gently open ourselves up. This is coherence. And this is the presence. This is the space from which love flows. So today, I'm here not just as a guest, but also as a fellow spiritual traveler on the journey of love. So we, in our spiritual community, and I know that this takes place here in this community too, we honor love not as a fleeting feeling, but as a sacred presence we consciously practice. And through all of our programs, we invite people into a life of healing, empowerment, and belonging. And we call this being a visionary in practice. So this is someone who chooses to be in a space of love. So this morning, I'm going to invite you to explore love, not just as a feeling, but as a spiritual force that lifts us up, that grounds us, to move us into a deeper connection into our freedom. So I have a question for you. And that question is, what if love isn't something we fall into, but something that we rise in? I want you to consider that. Thich Nhat Hanh, who's one of my favorite teachers, this is what he has to say about love. He says, true love contains respect. To be a true lover, you have to practice mindful breathing in order to produce your true presence. He also says, in true love, there is no place for pride. Thich Nhat Hanh is reminding us that love is not just something we feel. It is something we practice. Love is not positive. It's not passive. It's active. It's a choice that returns us over and over again to this essence, this truth. I always say we can send love into places we in our human experience are unable to go. So through this conscious breathing and mindful awareness and a deep presence, love becomes not just tender, it becomes transformative. It becomes respectful. It becomes healing and real. Thich Nhat Hanh uses mantras. I want us to understand mantras. A mantra is a sacred phrase, spoken aloud or silently or repeated that helps us to center our mind and steady our spirit. But it's not about the mystical language or the foreign rituals. It's about intentional speech, a consciousness, and an act that aligns the body, the mind, and the spirit. Even a simple phrase, and one of his favorite phrases is the word darling. My husband uses that word darling. He comes from the Midwest, and that's his tone, and that's the dialect that he uses. But Thich Nhat Hanh says, like a phrase like this, darling, I'm here for you. This becomes a mantra when it is spoken in the full awareness and loving attention. This is not a time where we're putting on any airs. It's just where we begin to allow the presence to fulfill itself and to reveal itself in our lives. Now, in his book, Teachings on Love, he offers 4 mantras, okay? And these 4 mantras are mantras that we can practice, we can embody in our day-to-day living. One is, darling, our friend, I'm here for you. To be fully present and to be the action of being present for someone. The other is, I know you're here and I'm very happy. It's comforting sometimes to have someone there, their presence with you. The third is, I know you're suffering. That is why I am here for you. To walk the path when people are moving through difficult moments in their life. And the final one is, darling, I'm suffering. Please help. These mantras aren't meant to be recited mechanically. They're meant to be practiced with sincerity, to draw us back into the moment, and to be compassionate and in connection with each other. So, of all the mantras, my favorite are the one that I would recommend that we give much attention to is, darling, I'm suffering. Please help me. I had a moment of suffering trying to get here on the call. I was trying to figure out what was happening, and I love bringing forth real life experiences. And so I'm sitting and I got a call, and I'm going to call her my earth angel. My earth angel showed up, gave me a friendly call just to be there with me. She just wanted to be that beneficial presence. And when I explained to her what was going on, she graciously guided me in terms of how I could tap into the space of where I needed. And that space that I needed to be was right here. But it is important for us to understand that mantra, that 4th mantra, which is, darling, I'm suffering, please help. Because this one doesn't just address pain, it asserts our belonging. It is a spiritual declaration that says, I am human, I matter, I am worthy of support. In a world where there are many that are conditioned to suffer silently, we see it all the time. There are breaks in the silence, and this is the time where we get an opportunity to open our hearts and to create a space for mutual healing. So, in its humility and in the truth, it reminds us that we are not alone, we are not forgotten, and this is an important part. We are seen and we are loved. The world is going through quite a bit right now, and it is important for us to remember those things there. It is also important for us to be able to move into the mantra of living, to support us in terms of moving through the different things we encounter in our day-to-day living. This is part of how we connect. Now, from a science of mind perspective, love is actually spirit in action. Ernest Holmes says, love is the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. So it is important for us to remember that love is not something we must chase or perform for. It's a spiritual climate in which we already live, move, and have our being. And when we consciously love, we do not lose anything. And this is an important point. We get an opportunity to amplify the divine. Love is a creative urge. It's self-expressing through us. And whenever we choose kindness over control or compassion over certainty or presence over performance, and when we move towards this in our lives, it makes a difference. So towards the end of Ernest Holmes' life, he reflected that if he could have changed anything in his life, in terms of his body of work, the thing he would have spoken more about is love. And the reason this is important is because it speaks volumes. Because for all the philosophy, the metaphysics, and the mental science he taught, which was wonderful and perfect, Holmes also realized that in the heart of all, love is the most important thing. It's what transforms theory into healing. It's what takes truth and makes it alive. So let us not forget the power of love and its importance in our life. Love is not just a principle, it is a presence. It's not just the concept, it's the call of spirit within us, an urging to give freely, fully, and to keep our reverence. And this is an important part, to move into deep reverence for life. So when we begin to recognize love and allow love to be our default, we can make a difference. What if we trained our minds to see love before we saw the lack of it? What if we trained our minds the same way we trained our bodies, through repetition and intention? Do you know how you go and exercise and work out and tone your body? This is what I'm talking about. When we begin to do these things here, then what we begin to do is we begin to move forward in a healthy way. And I'm going to use the word healthily. I have a medical doctor in our community, and she used that word all the time, healthily. If we can start to look in that way, when we begin to use a daily mantra, for example, love is here now, not because something happened, but just acknowledging the presence of love. I loved in the meditation, Reverend Allen says, and there are kindly surprises. That's one of my mantras. The kindly surprises of spirit. But knowing that love is always here, to acknowledge it in the good, and as one of the elders in my community say, the good, bad, and the ugly. That makes a difference. So within my spiritual community, and the way I like to teach is that when we teach this kind of mental conditioning through prayer, through our affirmation, through the breath work, and even with heart math, then we begin to rewire ourselves, and we get to choose love again and again. And it becomes obvious. It becomes a way of life. So as we begin to honor that, what we get an opportunity to do too is we get the opportunity to be respectful. And that being respectful, it means we're practicing love and being respectful, and we also respect the power of love. Most of the time we go through life and we have things in our life, and sometimes we take them for granted. And when we begin to take these things for granted, Sometimes their value are it loses something. But when we are intentional and we began to learn how to really practice love and to honor respect, it makes a difference. Thich Nhat Hanh says, true love contains respect. In Vietnamese, they have different words for love. Many languages have different words for love. One of the words in Vietnamese is ting, which is a romantic passion. It's fiery, emotional, and often fleeting. It's a form of love. And then there's the other word, which is nia. And not to be confused with other languages, nia means purpose. For example, part of the African culture, nia is different. And the thing about nia, and it's interesting because when you contrast nia's purpose, they would have similar qualities in the African culture. Sometimes things are just plain old universal. But the thing that I love about nia is it's quieter, it's deeper, it's more grounded. It's a grounded kind of love, one that emerges time on time over again through presence, patience, and shared growth. It's the love that shows up when things get hard. And that's an important part. That's when it is important for love to show up. I know that part of the reason where I'm at right now in this part of the world, I relocated all the way from Southern California and came here to Northern California with intention. And that was to be a beneficial presence in my family. I knew that changes were shifting. And the opportunity has shown up now. I can say that it is for this moment that I've been called. Love is something we actively practice. It's the love that listens when it doesn't have to. It's the love that doesn't need to be loud or to be real. Respect is love made visible. It shows up in the tender moments. It shows up without conditions. It's how we demonstrate that another person really matters to us, that they're seen, that they're valued, and not just when they succeed, but simply because they are who they are. I hope I'm speaking to your heart because you matter. And I'm saying this to each and every single person here. You matter. And my hope is that this awakens something within you and supports you as you move through life. We also teach that something called spiritual listening. This is where we move into a sacred practice of being present for one another. Oftentimes people talk at each other, but they may not necessarily be listening to each other. I actually ended up in a consultation with a doctor this past week. And I came to the conclusion, oh my goodness, we're having a communication issue right now. Part of it is we're talking at instead of really hearing what's really going on. And once that connection happened, it was smooth sailing. So that is a responsibility that each and every one of us have. It was my responsibility to know to make that connection so that the other person could rise to the occasion. So in a world where we're constantly interrupted, we're distracted, we're divided, this kind of listening can be revolutionary. It's not about fixing. It's not about formulating your response. It's not about being the person to solve everything. It's about being there with your heart open and your attention undivided. When we're fully present in that, then we get an opportunity to turn away from the outer distraction and to turn to each other, to listen with our eyes open, to listen and look with our eyes, to listen with our ears, to hear, and to see what we are listening to so that we can receive. This kind of listening says, you matter enough for me to stop everything and to be with you. And that is how love becomes real. Respect is not passive. I want us to hear that. It is active, it is intentional, and it is courageous. It's how we love people through their humanity, not just the highlighted reels. Respect is also a way that love keeps us from becoming possessive. It's what transforms love in momentary connections into sacred relationships. And the thing that the world needs more today is love. And understanding the depth of the love is the most important part. Thich Nhat Hanh says that true love contains respect. And he's calling us not only to feel love, but to live it through how we show up for one another. So finally, what I want to say about love is grounded love with intention can be very powerful. Much of what we see portrayed as love in our culture is a reactive, dramatic, fast, performative, and often fleeting kind of love. It's fireworks without foundation, passion without purpose. But soaring love is a grounded love. It's steady, it's sustainable, and it is spirit-led. It doesn't react, it responds. It doesn't speak, it listens. And it doesn't burn brightly. It endures with quiet strength. So what do we do and how do we use this? Well, we get an opportunity to speak and act. And so I'm going to invite you right now to just move into the place and ask, what is my loving intention right now? The pause and that breath isn't weakness, it's spiritual intelligence. And this is our higher self aligning with the divine before taking the next step. It's what we cultivate in our spiritual. We in our community love to have times where we practice with our spiritual soothers. And that's just simply breathing and being present in the world, anchoring in the world, and sending love into sacred spaces, just allowing them to surface and to show up in our lives. This is also part of how we practice heart math and move into a place of coherence. The more we move into coherence and we do those things, what happens is we show up in the world as a beneficial presence. We show up in the world and we allow for the elimination of suffering. And that's an important part. Because we love, and when we love, and our love is grounded with intention, it becomes more than an emotion. It becomes a practice, and it becomes a compass, a way of being. And in this grounded love, what happens is we get to apply it in special ways in different areas of our life. So what I'd like to do is just for a few moments move us through some portals of reflection in terms of how love can be practiced in our day-to-day living. Before you eat or move or rest, just ask yourself, what does loving my body look like right now? Maybe that listening is just, maybe it is just a nourishing meal. Or maybe it is just a movement. Or maybe it is doing nothing at all and just finally sitting and resting. This isn't self-indulgence. And sometimes we get to the point where we're judging outside of ourselves. It's being in spiritual stewardship, responding to our body, not with presence, but with reverence. It makes a difference. This is part of how we move more into harmony with life. Let's think about love in your work and your finances. Most of the time, we forget to bring love into these sacred spaces. But before the next meeting or transaction or major decision that you're moving into, just ask the question, what does it mean to live with love here? Maybe it's honesty. Maybe it is choosing integrity over ego. And I have a mantra for ego. Ego is edging God out. That's edging principle out. It's edging love out. Maybe it is releasing fear from money and affirming spiritual circulation. I always love whenever I send out something into the world to send a blessing. So that is an important part of the process. Love in your work makes spaces for clarity. It creates room for collaboration. And it also opens us up to creativity. Love in our finances invites alignment. It invites generosity and trust in the divine supply. When we bring loving intention to our workplace, we shift from productivity to purpose. And then there's the part about love in our relationships. And of course, before we respond to a loved one, or especially, and I want you guys to hear this part here, someone who has triggered or challenged you, just take a moment to pause and ask the question, what would love do here? That doesn't mean you get to avoid speaking truth, and it doesn't mean you become passive or people-pleasing. That's an important part to remember. It means that you respond from alignment, not adrenaline. It allows spirit to move through you, not your woundedness to show up. You begin to love not from survival, but from a place of sovereignty. Love, when grounded in intention, becomes an act of clarity, courage, and consciousness. It becomes a way to walk through life with discernment and devotion. It becomes our spiritual compass, guiding not just what we do, but who we are becoming. So I'm going to move us into a call to action this week. And I believe it's not just enough for us to have a conversation about it, but the call to action is the most important part of this process. Because in this call of action, what we get an opportunity to do is to gently move into a place of practice. So I'm going to invite you to choose one of the mantras that Thich Nhat Hanh has used and we've been engaged in, and to allow it to be a part of your thoughts, your conversations, and as well as your relationships. And again, those mantras are, first of all, I'm here for you, to be fully present and to be that action. 2, I know you are there, and I am happy. Just to acknowledge people when they show up and that we're there for them, that they're there for us. And to know that you're suffering and that I am here for you. I have a family that's moving through some challenging, life-changing situations. We have a loved one, an elder in our communities in the process of transitioning. But being in a space of love, for the people and respecting and honoring what is happening for everyone makes a big difference. And then the final one is, I'm suffering. Please help. I'm going to invite you to let these things move from your lips into your heart. That's the most important part. And from the heart into your way of being, how you execute that in the world. And I'm also going to invite you to let yourself pause before moving or reacting. Allow your intentions to saturate itself within you before acting. And the more that you practice, the more easily it will come to you. Your return to the presence when the world feels heavy is an important part. So if you have to choose one of the four, the one that I would invite you to focus on is, I am suffering, please help. Because it is not weakness when we acknowledge that, and it's not shame. This is the voice of healing and courage and truth. And it's not just a cry for help. It's a spiritual declaration that says, I matter, I belong, I am willing to be seen, I am willing to be held, and I am willing to heal. And it is from that place of the inside. And as we hear those words, and as we allow those words to come forth in a world that often glorifies our silence and suffering, then it makes a difference. These mantras restore our connection to each other, to others around us, and to the divine. So I'm going to invite you to remember this, that love is our liftoff. And here is the part I invite you to reflect on. To remember that love is not a transaction, it's not earned, and it is not conditional. Love is the air of the spirit. It's the breath of the soul. It is the language of God moving through you. And it is the most natural thing about you. So when you embody love, not just as an idea, but as a practice, we begin to rise. We rise above fear, we rise above comparisons, and we rise above the illusion, and I want you to hear this part here, of separation. That is the greatest journey of all on this path that we move on as sacred travelers of the journey of love. We rise into communion, into clarity, and in compassion. And you were not born here in this world to crawl through the world, to suffer and to move through things. It is important for you to remember that you were born in love. So what I want to do right now is I want us to close. And what I always like to do is, in my closing, I always like to bring everyone's voice into the room through the practice of this thing, what I like to call Afro incantations. And an Afro incantation is our posturing. And you'll notice that I'm not sitting, I'm standing today. I'm standing in this presence and anchoring in this presence. Wherever you're at, whether you're sitting or you're anchoring, I'm going to invite you to just move into a place of receptivity. Allow your bodies to move into the place of receptivity. I'm going to invite you to just maybe take your hands and just gently caress your heart space right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this thing, it's a call and response. And I don't know who, I think it is, if my memory serves me right, Joe is our tech guy. And look, I sent him this and look how responsive he was. Thank you, Joe. What I'm going to do is I am going to do the call part. I choose love as a spiritual practice. And I'm going to invite you to respond. And your response, I want you to be intentional with your response. And your response will be, I soar with purpose, presence, and peace. We're going to do this 3 times. The reason I say that is repetition, practice, again and again and again is the mother of learning. And this is a constant thing that we're always working with and we're always doing. So I'm going to invite us to do this 3 times. The other part is, and it's probably going to drive Joe crazy, and that part is that I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself. And the reason I'm asking you to unmute yourself is when you are doing that response, I want us to evoke something into this space that will be etched in your memory as you move forward in this week. So we're going to do that. And it's a temporary thing, Joe. Please forgive me. And here we go. Unmute yourselves. And we're going to do it 3 times. Here I go. Here's my part. I choose to love as a spiritual practice. Let's do it with authority. I soar
with
purpose,
presence,
presence,
and
and
peace.
peace.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do it again. I choose to love as a spiritual practice.
I
soar
with
purpose, presence, and
presence
peace.
and peace.
Okay, and now let's just do this one. This is the last one. I want you to be a soaring eagle. I like eagles. All right. I choose to love as a spiritual practice.
I
I
soar
soar with
with
Purpose.
purpose,
presence
presence,
and
and peace.
peace.
And so it is.
And so it
So it is.
Ah, yes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This was wonderful. Mute yourselves back. I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you're feeling that surge of energy. I'm going to invite you to go and have a blessed week and allow love to shine. Am I supposed to move into prayer right now?
If you can do that for us, that would be wonderful.
Okay, it is my pleasure. I'm going to invite you to breathe with me right now. And as we breathe, I'm inviting you to anchor in the space of unconditional love. Love without strings. Love just simply is the essence of who we are, the honoring of who we are. That presence of love that is a healing tone, a love that is moving and fulfilling itself right here, right now, on all levels of consciousness, in every possible way. Love as sacred wisdom, as that spiritual energy. Love, that mental capacity within our being, fulfilling itself within our intellect, within our understanding. Love at work and the divine presence within our physical being. This physical body, within every cell of our being, the body of our affairs, and love as the active, grounded ingredient, fully present within our emotions. And in this sacred, in this holy space, right here, right now, I take this moment to acknowledge the power of this loving energy and knowing that it is the blessing, that it is the divine presence fulfilling itself, and that each and every single person that is hearing my voice right here, right now, is awake, aware, attuned to the presence of this loving presence. And it is the divine presence that has defined itself in this moment. It is the beauty and it is the gift of the kindness surprises. It is the peace that passeth all understanding. It is the active ingredient. And I know that this ingredient is the beauty of life fulfilling itself. I claim it and know that this wonderful presence empowers each and every individual, and it fulfills itself within each person's life right here and right now, that there is a mighty blessing unfolding. and it is revealing itself as perfect wholeness within our bodies. It reveals itself, and it reveals and expresses itself as the wonderful intention and the blessing within our thought patterns and the way we show up in the world. I'm acknowledging this presence right now as grace, as beauty, and I know that it fulfills itself in all relationships. I'm acknowledging this presence and knowing that it is the blessing within the work, the way we show up in the world. I know that it shows up in that space of sacred service, that there is a grand exchange, and it is love giving to love and love receiving love. And I acknowledge that same power, knowing that it is the peace that passeth all understanding, and it is the blessing. It is the law of circulation. It is that divine presence that is bountiful, and it is the gift that continues to fulfill itself. It is active within our finances. It is the divine essence of life unfolding. And I know that if love can show up in this particular way, that it must be fully present wherever we take our attention. And that includes the world. It includes our world leaders. It includes people everywhere on this planet. It is all inclusive. And it is the divine light that acknowledges that we all matters. So in this moment, right here, right now, with the matters of the heart, knowing that love is all there is, right here, right now, I'm giving high thanks for this healing presence, knowing that there is a mighty blessing that is rippling throughout all of humanity, that there is a stabilization at work simply by right of consciousness. And that consciousness is the awakened awareness unfolding right here within this collective body. And so in this space we breathe, we align with gratitude with Margaret Mead, who says never underestimate the power of a collective body anchored in truth and sacred awareness, how it can change and transform the world. Well, what I'm knowing is in this moment, this is our moment of transformation, personally and collectively. And it is in this space with joy and love and peace and harmony that I invite you all to affirm with me. And so it is, and now it is. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful. You filled our hearts with love.
Back with. And at this time, we would normally do a congregational song entitled Use Me, as you all know. Here for the first time, welcome to Agape. Today we're doing a song that's called Return to Me. But we're doing it in a special way. Darcy and Romina from the Silent Light Ministry came and taught us American Sign Language. We were inspired to really begin to communicate in a way that's inclusive for our deaf community and deaf communities all over the world. So we just want them to know that we get it, that we're opening up, we're learning, and we celebrate the life of Gio at the same time. Gio passed away just about now.
Return to me, return to me, with every breath, return, and begin with me, with every breath, return.
Thank you, Reverend Jerry Hobby. Thank you for your wonderful message. And blessings to you, darling. And we thank our wonderful Ricky Byers. And I'm so sorry I misnamed that lovely song, but we received the message, I'm sure. So now it is time to move into our intentional giving with our giving affirmation. Excuse me. Please bring all of the gifts that you have received in your life. Gifts of love, the gifts of support, the gifts of community, the gifts of financial abundance into your heart. Anchor it there. And repeat our giving affirmation. I bless this gift with all my love. As I give, I embody prosperity and abundance, knowing I am fully supported by the universe. This is a symbol of my love and gratitude. It does great work in the world and returns to me easily, effortlessly, and often. And let us give the gift of life, the gift of abundance. There are several ways to give. You can go to our website, cslpeninsula.org, and it's a pretty obvious button, little green button, but with huge understandings. Press on the donate button. Be generous. It's always good for you. You can go from your PayPal account. Send to cslpeninsula@gmail.com. Most of us love the Zelle from your bank. Easy peasy, there is no fee. cslpeninsula@gmail.com. Or you can also mail to CSL Peninsula at P.O. Box 3243, Berkeley, California, 94703. And thank you for your generous donations. We'll go into a moment of music to let us do those donations.
I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart wide open. I am great with every breath I am grateful. I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart wide open. I am great with every breath I take. I am grateful. I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart wide open. I am great with every breath I am grateful. Thank you. I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart wide open. I am great with every breath. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart wide. I am great with every breath. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. I am great, I promise in this moment. I am great to keep my heart so blessed. I am great with every breath. So blessed. I'm grateful. Thank you. I am great, I promise in this moment.
we are so grateful. I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open as we go into our blessing of tithes and offerings. Thank you, Spirit of all. Thank you, loving God, that has blessed the lilies of the field and blesses us today in all ways. We are so grateful for the blessings given today, the blessing of a wonderful message, blessing of community, the blessing of knowing affirmations and mantras. And we know as we give, we also receive. So we bless the gifts and we bless the wonderful spiritual surprises that we receive at all moments. Knowing this, we're so grateful for the abundant life that we have. We're so grateful for the knowledge that our life moves forward no matter what the appearance, because our soul is eternal. Thank you, wonderful Spirit, for all of our blessings, the blessing of this day, and so it is. Amen. So we'll have some announcements. What announcements do we have, Joe? August 24th, we have an in-person, and it begins at 9:45. Please show up and have some breakfast and lunch with us. And prayers and many hugs. Thank you so much for all of your beings, for all of your lovings, for all of your gifts. And come to see us.
And Reverend Linda will be speaking on the 24th.
Yes, we know it's always good.
Thank you.
Already good. Hobie's in Belmont. Let's make sure, Belmont. There's a few Hobies.
And I had one more little
Yes.
announcement, if you don't mind.
Please tell us your announcement.
We have 2 more weeks of the book study. And the first one will be next Wednesday, August 20th. And then the next week after that, August 27th. That is the same time, 1 to 2:30. And you can even if you haven't gone to any of the sessions, you can still come to this one. I've read ahead and it's good. It's really good stuff. So I welcome you. And here's a little write-up on the screen about it. So we have had a wonderful time. We have 3 states represented in this group, which has been wonderful. And so, yeah, join us and learn a little more about seniors and aging and spirituality. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Linda. I wonder who is aging. Almost everyone. Probably everyone.
Probably everyone, even babies.
Yeah, they age before our eyes. We are slower. So, Reverend Jerry, will you please give our ministers benediction now?
It is my pleasure, and I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to be here in this community. And I'm just knowing great things are unfolding as I speak right here, right now. So we just give thanks for this time together, grateful for the blessings, grateful for this thing we call community, a space where we can come and be with people of like mind. And in this space right here, right now, as we move from here I know that we move out into the world as a beneficial presence, as an energy of love in action, allowing it to soar, to be a tipping point, to be an engaging presence, fulfilling itself everywhere we go. And what I'm knowing is that it's all perfect and it is all good. And until we meet again, I know that this light is a light that continues to connect and sustain and interweave itself within each and every one of us. And from this space, with abiding gratitude, I simply release this and invite us all to affirm together. Please unmute yourselves and let's say, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is.
So it is, and so it
Yes.
really is, and so it is. Yay!
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you
been such
so
a
much.
blessing.
You are a blessing. So very cool. So we have a hangout in a few minutes. Probably 11:30 is a good time. If you want to come back, Reverend Jerry, if you want to come, anyone who wants to come, please come to this same Zoom link, and or just best to move off the link and then come back. But you can copy it right now. That's a
Well,
really
thank
good.
you.
Thank you. We hope to see you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.